A very good afternoon to you. It is exactly 1 p.m. on the dot. We appreciate you creating time for us to inform you on what has been happening in the country. This is KBC Lunchtime News that is coming to you on the 26th day of August, the year 2020. We are going to be exploring quite a number of stories that have been shaping the news today, including how the case that touches on the Migori Governor Okoth Obado, who has been accused of embezzling 73.5 million from the county coffers, is taking shape. Also, we'll be looking at the status of COVID-19 mitigation across the counties. And just a day before we mark the 10th anniversary of the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, we're going to be looking at what some of the players have to say with regards to the progress we've made in terms of the implementation of this particular Constitution. It's just a few hours to the 27th of August 2020. A very good afternoon once again and welcome on board. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma and our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. Now, Migori Governor Okoth Obado was this morning presented at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission offices in Kisii, a day after the DPP okayed his prosecution. Governor Obado, along with 9 other suspects, are expected to this afternoon be charged formally at the Anti-Corruption Court in Nairobi. They are accused of embezzling 73.5 million shillings from the county coffers. Have a look.
Migori Governor Okoth Obado once again finds himself in a precarious position, facing graft-related charges. On Tuesday, the DPP gave the green light for him to be charged with economic crimes. He is this afternoon expected to be arraigned at the anti-graft court in Nairobi. Governor Obado, together with his sons and business associates, were early in the morning presented at Ethics and Anti-Corruption offices in Kisii. They are accused of conspiring to commit an offense of corruption, conflict of interest, money laundering, and unlawful accusation of public property. According to Director of Public Prosecution, Governor Obado received over 73 million shillings through his children, who received multiple payments from companies trading with the county government between financial year 2013-2014 and 2016-2017. Further, the Migori governor is facing queries over the purchase of a property at Loresho Ridge. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
All right, and we'll be updating you on that particular issue once the governor appears in court this particular afternoon. We are tracking that story for you. Now we continue. Countries have continued to collaborate in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic and reduce its effect to the people and economies. Kenya has made efforts to manufacture medical disposables and is set to begin exporting personal protective equipment and COVID-19 reagents to help in the fight against the pandemic. This as a section of leaders continue to call on the government to arrest and prosecute those culpable in the COVID-19 fund scandal.
A Kenyan company, Revital Healthcare EPZ Limited, which manufactures the medical facilities in Kilifi County, has raised its capacity to produce up to 80,000 testing kits per day. Already, the company has begun exporting COVID-19 reagents to 14 countries, including Uganda, Tanzania, Malawi, Namibia, and Zambia, among others. Authorities said the company is certified by the World Health Organization. Speaking after touring the company, Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi said the industry started manufacturing 2 products, but currently they are producing 34 products and intend to manufacture all the 1,000 medical products. He said so far they have employed 400 people, 80% of whom are women, adding that they target to employ 1,000 employees.
Na PPEs hizi hazitasaidia tu wakazi wa Kilifi, hazitasaidia tu wakazi wa Pwani, lakini Jamhuri ya Kenya yote, kaunti zote 47, na kama hivi leo tumejionea ni kwamba vifaa hivi sasa vinasafirishwa katika nchi za ng'ambo.
In the meantime, Funyula Member of Parliament Wilberforce Mudenyo has asked the Ministry of Education to put proper guidelines before resumption of learning. Speaking in Busia during the distribution of personal protective equipment, Mudenyo stated that some of the parents had used school fees owing to the pandemic challenges and may not be able to raise money for their kids to resume classes this year. The legislator noted that learning should only resume once the pandemic has been contained.
Lazima tuthibitishe, tuhakikishe kuwa ugonjwa umepunguka ndio watoto wetu warudi shuleni. Lakini pia tujue labda tunaweza kuwa na corona miaka mingi ambayo inakuja, inatufaa tuanze kufanya mpango ya to live with the corona na kuruhusu watoto wetu warudi shuleni.
Elsewhere, former Naivasha Member of Parliament John Mututho has appealed to President Uhuru Kenyatta to borrow a leaf from Somalia and ensure all culprits behind the COVID-19 funds theft are arrested and prosecuted. Mututho has called on the Kenyan government to emulate Somalia and act on corrupt cartels. This even as human rights defenders and members of the civil society continue to hold nationwide demos under the hashtag Arrest COVID-19 Thieves.
Lakini kama wewe ni jirani na umelemewa na kazi, omba jirani yako msaada. They know how to deal with these people, COVID guys, because they are worse than COVID itself. When you hear people have stolen 40, 53, or Mara 43, they have stolen, and now you hear that HIV, AIDS, malaria, TB is at risk because of these guys. Shout for your neighbor to come and help, and they'll be sorted out.
Beatrice Gatonyenge-Tich, Channel 1 News.
And this good news for residents in Dhiwa. Traders and residents operating along the Riat-Dhiwa Road have something to smile about following the reconstruction of a 10-kilometer Maram Road. The road connects Dhiwa town to Sukari Industries Limited, which is the only large-scale existing factory in Homa Bay County. The refurbished road has resulted in the reduction of road accidents and respiratory infections previously caused by dust.
As casual laborers is also the link to the only large-scale existing factory in Homa Bay County.
Our vehicles used to spend 1 hour for a 10-kilometer road, which is not very economical.
For more than a decade, Dhiwa residents and traders suffered immense respiratory complications as a result of the poor state of the 10-kilometer stretch. Patients in Riat seeking medical attention at Dhiwa Sub-County Hospital had to endure a tiresome 1-hour journey to access medical care, with expectant mothers falling victim to many instances of miscarriages due to the deplorable condition of the road.
And at the time we were taking from Dhiwa Hospital, even with a client, with a sick person, not a pregnant mother, has reduced to 15 minutes from Riat to Dhiwa.
Barabara kwa sasa ni nzuri. Hakuna matope, hata mvua ikinyesha, pikipiki inaweza pita, magari yanaweza pita. Sasa wasafiri wanaona vizuri kwa maana hawezi kuchelewa sana kwa barabara.
Sukari Industries General Manager David Noel Okoth says the initial bad state of the road led to delay of sugarcane delivery from farms to the factory, a problem that has now been temporarily resolved.
So far, we are still continuing, and basically is impacting because we're able to create a level of employment to the community, and they're really happy and we are partnering together.
The General Manager now requesting the county and national governments to upgrade the roads to tarmac. Yusuf Farrell, Channel 1 News.
And like I told you, we are almost marking 10 years since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution. Around this time, there's a lot of conversation that is currently going forward with regards to how we've done in terms of the implementation of the Constitution. We now want to interact with our reporter, Serfine Achieng, who has for us, has been part of a forum this particular morning by a group known as the Dialogue Reference Group, who, among other issues, are just citing lack of civic education when it comes to this particular constitution, among other issues that they are citing as those that have led to the failure on the implementation of the constitution. Serfine, a very good afternoon to you. Probably you can just put us up to speed with some of the key highlights of what some of the stakeholders are raising with regards to the implementation of the 2010 constitution.
Indeed, a very good afternoon, Serfine. We're coming to you live from the Fungamano House here in Nairobi, whereby a briefing has just ended of the Dialogue Reference Group, whereby they're commemorating 10 years since the Constitution was promulgated, and they've also touched on a number of issues, including corruption, and I'm with some of the archbishops here and the bishops to just brief us on some of the things that they had touched on earlier on. Karibu.
Asante sana. My name is Archbishop Martin Kivuva Musonde. I happen to be the chair for this dialogue conference group. We've been here since morning, and of course part of the things we're doing is to reflect on our countries where we are 10 years after the Constitution was promulgated in 2010. As we so do, we reflected seriously, first of all realizing that Kenyans have always wanted to improve their constitution. We saw the abrogation of Chapter 2A in the past. And now the new constitution came in 2010. We are 10 years down the line, so today we planted a tree to commemorate those 10 years. We also reminded ourselves of the responsibilities of a constitution, that a constitution is a glue. It's like a glue that binds a community together. It's like the laws of the nation that where we aspire to live accordingly. So our reflection tells us that though it was promulgated in 2010, this is the 10th year, there are many gains. There are also many areas we needed to look at. The area of corruption, comes up in the up on the line, where we are saying Kenyans seems not to have changed their manners or their way of life. Corruption since independence has been ravaging this country, and then leadership has always been seen perhaps as a moment for the leader to lord it over others. And perhaps this has been, while we have devolved structures, we also realize perhaps some of those devolved structures have also devolved corruption. So this is one of the areas. However, the experience of a devolved government is a positive, is a thumbs up, and also it is a moment to say we understand what a government is all about. However, there's been always a challenge between the national government and the county government. There has not been full, what you call symbiosis interface. Some places there are challenges, but we know we are getting there. There's a specific area we want to touch on, this corruption. We brought out clearly that the current corruption on COVID money meant for treating our people who are sick, money meant to care, end up in the health sectors of our hospitals and health centers and possibly dispensaries, has been lost, stolen in simple terms. And we are saying, Mr. President, crack the whip.
Apart from corruption, perhaps, there are a number of things that have not been achieved in the past 10 years. Some of the things include the 2/3 gender rule, and also we've seen the appointment of the 41 judges. Yes. What would you have to say about this?
We went through a few recommendations, especially to different places. The issue of the 2/3 gender rule, which is part of our constitution, now 10 years down the line, we have not been able to achieve this. And I think it's necessary to reflect on how the wisdom of those who crafted the Constitution felt and knew the women's presence in our leadership will make a big difference in terms of service delivery. And therefore, this has not been achieved so far. But we also are saying, while the parliamentarians have a responsibility to ensure that is done, remember elections are competitions, like a competition. Who elects the men to the positions? It is the many women who do. So I'm challenging the women on the ground to identify leaders at their level and support them, the good leaders, not any leader, so as not to be seen always bringing the same people, perhaps sometime, and the same people do not deliver or have a deficiency. And not only that, but to fulfill the law, it is required that the parliament are to see which way to bring this aboard.
What about the appointment of the 41 judges?
Of the 41 judges, we said it is the responsibility of the executive, the president, to say precisely, that it is necessary to do this. There are many cases now as we speak all over the country. Although they have tried, but you know, our court cases take very long. I know cases that have taken 20 years. I know cases that have taken 15 years. I know cases that have done more than 10, 15, and so on. So this perhaps will expedite justice, because if somebody is claiming for his dues and it takes so long to receive the dues, for example, it is injustice of some kind. So we are encouraging, and not only encouraging, recommending Mr. President, do what is called, you are called to do. If you think they don't fit, say this one don't fit, give me another one, or let's the process begin again. There are other proposals we are making to different people. To the citizens, we are saying we need to know the Constitution. Read the Constitution, try to understand it, and try to see the areas that apply to you. The same thing with the Parliament. They need to enact all outstanding laws, and there are many, because when we made the Constitution, there were other laws to be enacted by Parliament. And it is necessary to go on that.
Well, those are just some of the issues that were touched on. We're going to brief you or give you a comprehensive story on other issues that they touched on as they commemorated the 10 years since the promulgation of the Constitution. Back to you, Serfine.
All right, thank you so much, Serafina Robi, for that update. That is just the Dialogue Reference Group giving what they call is their scorecard since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, raising some fundamental issues there that touch on corruption and national cohesion. We will be getting more details about this as we progress in our subsequent news bulletins. We now move on. The Iran embassy has awarded cartoon animators from Africa and Iran in the inaugural virtual cartoon festival on Africa and COVID-19. The overall winner was Mansoureh Deghani from Iran, with Behram Ajomania coming in second, while Alphonse Okech from Kenya was third.
The first ever African virtual cartoon festival on COVID-19 came to a close Wednesday after winners were announced and rewarded. The festival, organized by the Embassy of Iran in Kenya in partnership with the University of Nairobi and the East African Cartoonist Society, sought artworks from cartoonists from Africa and Iran on the effects of COVID-19 in the society. Iran ambassador to Kenya, Dr. Jafar Barmaki, said the work submitted went beyond individuality in showcasing talent.
Last month have not only seen the coming together of great artistic minds in highlighting the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, but has equally presented the resilience and the fighting spirit of the continent toward the virus.
UN Director of Corporate Affairs John Orindi said the festival helped showcase talent among the youth and will enhance bilateral relations between Kenya and Iran as it promotes issues predominant in Africa.
We appreciate the good relations that exist between the Republic of Kenya and the Islamic Republic of Iran. We are happy that these cultural ties, the cultural activities that have been stated will strengthen the relations between Kenya, diplomatic and economic relations between Kenya and Iran.
The ambassador said Iran remains committed in sharing their experiences in the fight against the virus.
I must admit that you are all winners, and I plead with you to remain agents of change through your artworks in your represented capitals. The Islamic Republic of Iran continues to stand with African nations in their development.
The overall winner, Delghani, will receive $500. Bahrama Jomania will receive $400, while Alphonse Okech will pocket $300. Winner by public vote Elijah Washira, on the other hand, will receive $300, while Hassan Athman, who was the runners-up, will receive $200. The Iran embassy also recognized other cartoonists who submitted their artworks, with 5 of them receiving free medical cover at the Red Crescent clinics in Kenya.
All right, and that report takes us to our first break right here on KBC Lunchtime News. Remember, we want to engage with you, so please interact with us on social media at KBC Channel 1. We're also streaming this live on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you so much to our online viewers. We appreciate your support. We are going to be taking that break. Join us on the other side.
Imani ni bayana ya mambo yanayotarajiwa, unayaita mambo yasiyokuwepo kama yalipo. Imani ni kuchukua umbo la kitu unachokitamania, ima kwa mbali au kwa karibu. Lakini ijapo katika mambo ya kuhatikia, basi unajibunia mambo hayo mwenyewe. Lingine muhimu ni kuwa iwapo hauipendi barabara unayoitembelea, basi
kupata imani yako bonyeza *811 *815 hash. Bonyeza *811 *815 hash.
On the next episode,
many questions have been asked about the Galana food security project. A project that was launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta to help in feeding the nation.
Kazi yangu ambayo nimetegemea sana hapa ni kupanda.
Can anything good come from Galana?
Hiyo pesa itatusaidia kama mimi na mamangu.
Hii kazi imenisaidia kwa mapato, napata chakula.
Watch it on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Say all kind of things about you.
We them all shake up. Need to mush you and done to mush you. When your booty got show me now.
Baby, one time. Bossy baby, give me 2 times. Full 180. Crazy.
Trago ya la botella. Let's go. Ha. I needed some with some bobby.
Mamacita, where you at? I've been trying to reach you.
Choro, 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 choro.
All right, we now want to take you to Ole Seroni Hotel right here in Nairobi. This is actually the place where we are having the 3rd Leadership Forum by the National Assembly. The last day is today. It began yesterday, and it is actually offering an opportunity for leaders to discuss quite a number of issues that touch on the country's leadership and, of course, how we are also faring in this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's just go there and listen into some of the speakers who are currently sharing their remarks.
But what are the timelines and what is the proportion of these commercial loans to the total loans? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mwadi, 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. And I promise from the onset that I'll check on the member who is getting cash transfer for the old. I was not aware that it's happening. But let me start by saying that I'm happy. The overall view of what we have been given by the Minister, and of course the comments from the Chair, Budget and Appropriation. But allow me to pick a few areas which are very critical. And I know members here have been asking me about Kazi Mtaani, National Hygiene Program. And that National Hygiene Program, Waziri, either was put up hurriedly without plan and is still causing havoc on the ground, or is meant to embezzle some money. I say this because I engaged the PS, Ministry of Housing, and his response was that the money was meant to go to the youth who are most vulnerable at some slums in some urban areas because of rapid urbanization. But the truth of the matter is that most of those youths who come from away from rural areas have gone back, and they have not been able to be incorporated in that program. Now what happens, if it was meant to help the government address the issue of youth, actually is causing more havoc within the youth, because they are now sharing information that those who are in urban areas and probably were not vulnerable just because they are there are getting, and those who are really downtrodden back at the rural areas are not. So it is very, very important. Either you hold that program and you recraft it, because it's now a time bomb which can actually hit on the government. The second, which this is to the Chair, Budget and Appropriation, I have heard the Minister has post-recovery strategy for the economy. Maybe he cannot give us now, but we would want to have such a document, not so that we critique, but so that we can see and work with you in that recovery. Now, the other issue, which is about development, donor-funded programs, which come either via county governments or directly through national government, are either not coordinated with national programs which we have. And I have an example in the Kenya Urban Support Program. 3 times I have seen programs which are in your budget, which are also being supported by those donor funds, running concurrently. So you'll find a road and another one have exactly the same amount, but has 2 sources of funds. Now what happens is that the national government will go and launch, and then the county government will go and claim mileage, and of course account for it. I have examples which I can give you, but that program, Kenya Urban Support Program, please check on it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Finally,
Finally.
we have come from far.
20 seconds.
Now my chair is telling me something. My vice chair is telling me something. I think you will get a chance to ask. Now, this is about COVID.
All right, that is Honorable Peter Mwavi, the Member of Parliament for Limuru constituency, currently speaking at the 3rd Leadership Forum being hosted by the National Assembly at Ole Sereni Hotel right here in Nairobi. It is a forum that began yesterday, and today they're actually bringing it to a close. We will be getting more details about this particular function and some of the issues that have emanated beginning yesterday all the way to today at the end of the day as we progress. This is in our subsequent news bulletins. We now want to focus on other matters. Massive land subdivision and human activities within the Amboseli Wildlife Circuit is posing a big threat to Amboseli National Park in Kajiado County. According to Samuel Kaangi, the chairman, Amboseli Landowners Conservancy Association, most ranches have been subdivided into private pieces of land, with some landowners said to be disposing of their land to private developers.
Amboseli National Park depends on the expansive neighboring 6 private conservancies to contain the increasing number of wildlife. Over the years, animals from Amboseli National Park have been roaming freely within communal ranches. Some of these ranches provide wildlife migratory routes from Amboseli to Tsavo National Park and Chulu Hills National Park.
hiyo area ya Kimana ni very potential area ambayo ndio corridor ya wanyama kutoka hapa Amboseli kuingia sanctuary na kwenda Tsavo. Tukaona kwamba hiyo area ikipotea Amboseli itakuwa na shida. Tukajaribu kuongelesha landowners, kujaribu kuwaleta pamoja tuanzishe conservancies. Tukaanzisha conservancies 6.
However, what used to be big chunks of land continues to be subdivided into private lands. Locals claim human activities including agribusiness has proved a major threat to the park.
Wanyama wanapita mashamba zetu wakipanda all the way to Tsavo, wanapita conservancy na wanapita Kimana Wildlife Sanctuary. Hiyo ndio corridor yao mpaka Kilaguni.
According to the chairman, Amboseli Land Owners Conservancy Association, Samuel Kangi, most ranches have been subdivided into private pieces of land, making owners an easy prey to land speculators.
Shida ya watu kuuza mashamba, ile kitu ambayo inafanya watu kuuza mashamba ni umasikini. Watu wana mashamba. Sasa mtu anaangalia hawana mali, hawana ng'ombe, hawana nini. Sasa unakuta mtu ambaye hana ng'ombe anasema sasa nikiendelea kuwa na shamba na sina ng'ombe na sina kitu ya kula, sina kitu ya kusomesha mtoto, afadhali niuse hii shamba alafu niende nitafute mali kidogo ninunue na nisomeshe watoto.
To safeguard the wildlife and tourism in the area, stakeholders have developed the Amboseli Ecosystem Management Plan 2020 to 2030 that awaits to be enacted into a law.
So sisi hii Amboseli hainge survive. Maana sisi tumeamua kukaa na wanyama na kulinda wanyama, na ndio tunataka pia sisi tuone beneficiary ya wale wanyama tuko na wao.
The plan is to protect migratory routes and stipulate different classes of land use, restricting farming within the Kimana Wildlife Circuit.
Ni kufikiria vile wataweza kusaidia hizi conservancies kwa njia ambayo itakuwa sustainable, kwa sababu ile pesa ambayo tunatumia ni donor funding, na unajua hiyo inaisapotea anytime. Kwa hiyo kama serikali wangekuwa na njia nyingine kama hii park ishikilie kujaribu kushikilia hizo park, hizo conservancies, ndio tu itasaidia hii park. Kwa sababu hizo conservancies ikipotea automatically hii park itakuwa shida.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Emily Keibade.
And the Ministry of ICT, Innovations and Youth Affairs has kicked off the digitization of health facilities across the country to ensure effective and efficient service delivery. Principal Secretary Serfine Achieng says the government plans to have all the 369 level 4 to level 6 hospitals interconnected through internet by the end of next year.
She is set to have major revamps thanks to the ICT ministry as the government moves to digitize the sector. Speaking in Siaya Town when he paid a courtesy call on Area County Commissioner Michael Oletielal before touring ICT installations in the county, ICT Innovations and Youth Affairs Principal Secretary Serfine Achieng said it was the objective of the government to mainstream ICT at the grassroots to enable the public access government services online. As part of the program, Achieng said the ministry has already installed a local area network in 50 public hospitals across the country.
Nowadays we are doing Ajira training online. It's even good that we have a hall here. We hope once things settle and we are able to be given formulas of returning to such places, we will be able to now come back in a more guided and structured way.
Achieng further challenging the youth to take advantage of the ICT infrastructure to improve their lives, adding that the government had opened more opportunities through various digital platforms.
You are our future and we really rely and depend on you. The digital dream of this country will only be achieved by you. And we have developed a digital economy strategy. We want Kenya to be the global leader in digital economy.
Siaya Governor Cornel Rasanga hailed the close cooperation with the national government, urging the youth to take advantage of the digitization to access government procurement opportunities. Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
And now to Isiolo County, an initiative that seeks to address challenges facing the legal system in Isiolo County appears to be bearing fruit. Dubbed Alternative Justice System, the initiative was launched 8 years ago and involves community elders in dispensing justice.
The judicial system continues to experience challenges, including backlog of cases, a situation that has hampered its service delivery. And in efforts aimed at addressing these challenges, the judiciary explored other alternatives to uphold the law through an initiative dubbed Alternative Justice System, which was launched in Isiolo County in 2012. Through the initiative, which involves community elders dispensing justice, the region has benefited from the reduction of workload in courts, decongestion in prisons, and promotion of harmony among parties in dispute.
Important, firstly, in reducing the case backlog in our court system. For instance, Isiolo, we have 3 judicial officers, and our backlog is quite high. So we have relied on the elders to reduce our backlog, and they have, in most of the cases, resolved those cases without much delay.
The forms of dispute resolution which the Council of Elders acquired training on include arbitration, mediation, mini-trials, negotiation, and conciliation. According to Isiolo Principal Magistrate Evans Ngige, the ADR in the region has proved valuable and has seen most of the cases referred to them solved amicably. Ngige adding that either the court or investigating agencies can refer cases to ADR, and once the council dispense them, they prepare the verdict and agreements reached, which are finally filed in the courts.
When a dispute arises, parties themselves may refer a dispute to the Council of Elders, that is at the village level. They may, on their own motion, decide that these are disputes which we do not need to report to the police station or to the courts, and therefore they can appear before the Council of Elders and therefore submit to the jurisdiction. Matter reported at the police station, and then the OCS on his own motion can decide that it's a matter which is best suited to be referred to the Council of Elders. So the OCS can refer the dispute directly to the Council of Elders before referring it to the courts.
Meru Council of Elders member Patrick Amaro held the system, noting that it has greatly assisted in expediting delivery of justice to residents.
Beleni watu wengi walikuwa naenda Meru kufanya kesi yao huko Meru. Unajua huko Meru ni transport, ni wakili, unaumia hapo katikati. Lakini leo hii kwa serikali ambao ile njia wachukua mwelekeo inalinda mwananchi wa kawaida, kwa sababu kesi zao ile nyingi zimerundishwa kwa wazee. Wazee wanafanya hiyo kesi na wanarundishia serikali kama wamefanya kesi ambao kulingana na sheria ile wamepewa na.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Thank you, Jackie, for that report. Now, over 5,000 border riders operating in West Pokot County have benefited from an initiative aimed at economically empowering young people. The initiative, spearheaded by the county government through a savings and credit cooperative, has seen the group acquire savings accounts and purchase motorbikes.
So tulichukua fast track ndio pioneers kuchukua pikipiki kama sako. Wakati gani? Mwezi wa 5 kama sako yangu pikipiki 3. Alafu kuna mtoto yangu nani mezaa hapo na 2. So kule Jeberia tulienda na pikipiki 5. So sisi ndio first bonds na tunaendelea vizuri. Vijana tumeajiri vijana. Kama sako yangu nimeajiri vijana ndio wapate nao kufaidika katika hii sako yangu, lazima nisalishe.
Right now, a US-based investor has expressed interest in investing in a solar energy project in West Pokot County in a move that is set to revolutionize the lives of the local community. Area Governor Professor John Lonyangapuo says the investment is welcome news for his administration in its efforts to transform the lives of the area residents.
United States-based investor has shown interest in investing within West Pokot County by putting up a solar farm to generate energy for those living within the region. Solar Time, a US-based company through its managing partner Jonel Carroll, expressed interest in the untapped solar energy and has already commenced talks with the Kenyan authorities on how to go about acquiring requisite documents to commence its work.
It's sad to say some investment starts from the investor first, what's their interest, how can they make their money. But in reality, how does it help the people? How does it help the people grow? How does it help upward mobility? And so we're also doing economic development activities inside a rural area in Georgia. So that's our interest is not as much as urban areas, but rural area development, because number one, the need is stronger, and then number two, it usually offers a greater rate of return. A lot of folks don't know that.
Area Governor Professor John Lonyangapu gave the proposed project a nod, saying it will improve the lives of local community.
We don't need even any other power from anywhere for cooking, for warming water, for lighting, for everything it comes from there. This is what I am already seeing. Maybe this is what you want to do. And this is the way to go in my county. I am a bit keen to know anybody coming to invest, we want to see how we can benefit also. It might not be free, but although I know you are going to work with us.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Emily K. Badi.
And in the business news, the government is currently conducting an assessment to establish key marine resources in Kenya's exclusive economic zone. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya has disclosed that the ongoing study will shed light on the amount of fish stocks within the oceanic territory that will pave way for planning towards sustainability in the sector as the country seeks to increase blue economy output.
For years, local fishermen at the coast have lamented the invasion of Kenya's exclusive economic zone with an estimated 200 nautical miles by illegal fishermen, and in doing so depleting the country's marine resources. It is against this backdrop that the Agriculture Ministry has embarked on an exercise to assess resources in the exclusive zone.
Hiyo research stock assessment inaendelea, karibu ikamilike, inatuonyesha hiyo bahari iko na fishi wengi, wanakaa huko mpaka wanakufa kwa uzee.
The Agriculture Cabinet Secretary says Kenya will increase capacity in the fishing industry with the operationalization of the 318 million Liwatoni Fishing Complex in Mombasa County set for September.
Ilianza mwaka huu, saa hii watu wametrainiwa 1800. Tumesema mwaka huu tunataka training ya 2000 people every year. Na sio kufunza wewe tu mambo ya kufishi hapa kidogo hapa kwa kona hapa.
Munya, however, stressed on the need to strike a balance between conservation and the exploitation of marine resources, especially as the government turns its focus on fisheries development. Speaking when he toured fishing villages of Shimoni, Gazi and Kibuyuni in Kwale County, Munya said blue economy has been identified as one of the avenues to help alleviate poverty amongst the local communities.
Saa hii kuenda kuvua huko ndani, wakati mwingine kule mnafika, competition imeanza kuwa reduced. Sasa mbeu yote itakuwa hapo. Mbeu yote ya fisheries yote ile mnahitaji pande hii itakuwa center hapa Shimoni, si ndio? Training yote ya mambo ya uvuvi, mambo ya fisheries, nini yote, utaalamu huo wote, resource center inajengwa hapo kubwa.
The CS also toured the construction works of the Shimoni Fishing Port and the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute, Shimoni Laboratories. Ronald Willie, Business Defined.
Now on to matters tourism. Kenya has been awarded the Safer Tourism Seal by Rebuilding Travel in recognition for our efforts in ensuring safe travel during the COVID-19 pandemic. Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala has said that the acknowledgement is crucial in building travelers' confidence in destination Kenya as international travel resumes and hospitality outlets reopen.
Locally, the sector is gradually reopening following the ease in lockdown measures, with hotels and other tourism attractions adopting to safety protocols provided to ensure the safety of visitors and their workers. It is for these efforts that Kenya has been awarded the Safer Tourism Seal by Rebuilding Travel. Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife Najib Balala says the acknowledgement is crucial in building travelers' confidence in the destination. After the pandemic broke, Kenya joined the world in the World Tourism Organization #Travel Tomorrow campaign, which was aimed at asking travelers to remain safe at home. The Ministry of Tourism, through the Kenya Tourism Board, also partnered with the private sector to keep the destination alive through a virtual live streaming and the #Magic Awaits campaign. The Safer Tourism Seal recognition will be up for renewal in 2022 if the destination will have met the tourism surety requirements. This recognition follows a Safe Travel Stamp Award to Kenya by the World Travel and Tourism Council earlier in June this year. Regina Manyara reporting for Channel 1 Business.
And Telkom Kenya has dropped its merger plans with Airtel Kenya, opting to focus on data market in a new business strategy. Managing Director Mugo Kibati says the company does not plan to lay off workers under the new business plan. Telkom Kenya was banking on the merger with business rival Bharti Airtel Kenya to strengthen its market position in the country, widely dominated by market leader Safaricom.
Following the collapse of the merger plans with Bharti Airtel Kenya, Telkom Kenya says it will now focus on digital transformation to drive business growth. The company says it will use its vast infrastructure, asset base and services to drive digital transformation within the consumer, SME, corporate and public sectors in a bid to enable them become smart entities.
We are now moving into a more, a lower touch, lower contact era where people will find physical distancing now a necessity and therefore look to do things virtually more and more. So e-commerce will grow, telecommuting will grow, telemedicine will grow, teleeducation will grow. And all this will require bandwidth and communication services such as provided by Telkom Kenya. And this is what we're gearing up.
Telkom Kenya Chief Mugo Kibati says the telco will also focus on making it a future smart landing hub for the majority of submarine cables in the region as it continues to provide connectivity to all data entering and exiting Kenya. The company has announced an internal reorganization of its business, scrapping off loss-making divisions. Mugo says Telkom Kenya will also focus on connecting the unconnected through the expansion of 4G network as well as through cutting-edge technologies such as Loon. This market segment is dominated by Safaricom, who controls more than 60% of the market, with Telkom Kenya controlling 26.6% market share. Last month, the company was picked by the government to deliver mobile and data connectivity to rural communities in Kenya using the Loon Balloons technology.
And now on to matters of sports. Football Kenya Federation's Electoral Board is today expected to publish the final list of delegates eligible to vote at both the county and national levels. Earlier yesterday, the Electoral Board received nomination forms from aspirants seeking elective positions at the county level, whose elections kicks off on September 19th, while those at the national level are set for October 17th.
With Football Kenya Federation elections set to kick off on September 19 at the county level, the Electoral Board is expected to receive more nomination forms from those vying for various positions. Yesterday, the board received forms from aspirants from Mombasa, West Pokot, Nairobi East, Taita Taveta and Trans Nzoia counties, with the exercise closing today.
Ile kitu ambayo nimeona sasa kikubwa ni kuwa playing field. Playing field imekuwa very smooth, ambapo ndio ilikuwa twaomba ambayo ikiongozwa na chairlady yetu madam, na so far tumepokelewa vizuri. Zimechukuliwa zile ni kisheria, lazima zichukuliwe, iangaliwe kila kitu, tumelipa everything na tumepokelewa vizuri sana. Mpira unapelekwa na FKF ambapo wako sawa na FIFA. wengine. Kama mimi leo nimesema nitawachallenge wale watu wa Mombasa kwa sababu stakeholders na clubs zimetupush to come for the nomination.
Aspirants seeking elective positions at the national level will submit their papers on August 31st, 2020, with the election set for October 17th.
Sasa mashinani wakiwa na mwongozo mzuri kama sisi vile tunawania, tunaona kwamba mambo yatakuwa mazuri zaidi kwa sababu ya ule ushirikiano ambao itakuwa nao kati ya FAF na sisi viongozi ambao tutataka viti, na tumetaka viti na sababu ni kuinua mpira na kuhakikisha kwamba unajua kwanza ile Mombasa County vijana wengi wana changamoto ya vitu vingi, lakini kupitia sport ni jambo ambalo ikienuliwa changamoto zitaweza kupungua.
The board, in the meantime, is today expected to publish the final list of delegates eligible to vote at both the county and national levels. It will be the third time in a year that FKF will be holding elections. The previous two exercises were nullified by the Sports Disputes Tribunal SDT last December and in March this year, with SDT Chairman John Ohaga ruling that the rules of engagement were flouted on both occasions. However, the FKF Electoral Code, which had been the contentious issue, will remain in force.
And now Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester United and Manchester City have shown interest in signing Argentina forward Lionel Messi after the 33-year-old told Barcelona he wants to leave the Nou Camp. It is believed that Messi decided to hand in a transfer request after he was told that his privileges in the squad are over by the new Barcelona boss, Ronald Koeman.
Barcelona forward Lionel Messi has asked to leave the club this summer. The 33-year-old Argentina international says he wishes to exercise a clause in his contract, allowing him to leave for free with immediate effect. Barca were beaten 8-2 by Bayern Munich in the Champions League quarter-finals on 16th of August. The six-time Ballon d'Or winner made his debut for Barca in 2004 and has won the Champions League 4 times. Barcelona, though, believe the clause has now expired and Messi is contracted to the club until 2021 with a €700 million buyout clause. The board will meet soon, and some consider the only thing that could placate Messi is the resignation of President José María Bartomeu and early elections. But Messi seems determined to leave the club no matter what. After the news broke, Barca fans gathered outside the Nou Camp to protest against the board and in support of the club's record goal scorer. A legal battle is now set to follow between the club and the player. Messi had a clause in his contract which allowed him to leave for free if he informed the club of his desire before 10th of June. That date has now passed and Barca believe the clause has expired, but Messi and his team feel it should be extended to cover the prolonged season, which ran until August due to the coronavirus pandemic.
All right, and that wraps it up for us right here on KBC Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for creating time to stay updated this particular afternoon. Remember, we are still working on quite a number of stories for you. We'll be letting you know as the day progresses on our social media. You can get regular updates at KBC Channel 1. We appreciate your company. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and our sign language interpreter has been Lensa Odingo. Have a lovely afternoon.